All right, welcome to the Corporate Edge podcast. Stand up and stand out. All right, before we start, last time we rambled, but we're trying not to do that today. Well, here we go. But I will tell you, the last one we did, he had his chair jacked up, and I looked like this little dude. I was like, I was
I changed my chair.
And he
changed my chair.
He was like, what? Or he had like 4 inches off. Anyway,
I'm 4 inches taller than you anyway.
You know what? You are. I'm 5'11".
I'm 6'3".
Okay. Yeah,
So I am actually taller than you.
but today
we're the same height. Now today I'm 5'11".
He
Today I'm 5'11".
was pumped up. Anyways, thanks for being here, guys. This is going to be a good one.
What are we talking about today?
Well, here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about culture for a minute, and then I want to get into your 3 Ps, and then I want to talk a little bit about mine. I just want to give them because
some frameworks.
Yeah, some frameworks. That's exactly.
We love frameworks.
Frameworks. You're the framework king.
I am the frame. I love frames.
I love watching the.
I'm the frame master.
I'm watching frame all the time.
Frame dance.
Frame. But I mean, it's true. You gotta have a frame in anything. Working out, taking care of yourself, building a house, building a business, whatever.
Anything.
But this is kind of like when you talk about culture, you get so many people like, well, they're like culture.
I don't know what it is.
They're like, culture's not. You got to have strategy. You got to have all these things, but culture is it really? We got to make moves and we got to run. We got to do what we got to do. We got to run people over. We have to make money. And so I don't think that's the way to do it.
But it's not sustainable without a good culture. I mean, you can make some money. I mean, you have peaks. You have moments. Like I have restaurants that have moments of doing lots of sales, but it's not sustainable. And they're like always on this roller coaster. Right. Even now, I mean, we're talking, we deal with some people that are in our ecosystem that actually, they have sales,
right?
But their culture,
right,
is kind of like,
right. But then you had turnover.
And they got huge turnover. And then like the owner, unfortunately, like gets a wild hair. And then next thing he goes on a rampage and just cans everybody.
Right.
And then he's right back to square one. And then he goes back to being a martyr. I have to do it all myself.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle that it goes, round and round and round. But I believe the culture is about, it is values. It's everything that, but it's also make a winning culture. Some people think if you have culture, that's not a business strategy. Mm-hmm. But I believe that is part of the strategy. And that you got to get the right people. You got to treat people fairly. You got to lead by example. You have to do all those things. If you don't and add value to people, then in today's world too is how do you keep the team together if you don't have it? And two, this is the first time in I think our history. How many like we got Gen XZ?
I don't even know what the new one is. There's a new one out there.
We got 6 or 7
all in the workplace at the same time. It's crazy.
And so a culture can mean a little bit, be different for each one of them.
Depends on which millennial which kind of time zone you grew up in.
Because back when we were growing, I was like, hey, you just do what I say, dude, and that's what it is. Right?
Shut up and do the work. But
that don't work today. It didn't work then. It
didn't work for me. I mean, I didn't like being yelled and screamed at. My dad was notorious yelling screamer, like throw shit at you. And but sadly, like when you get into the workforce, your early kind of models for business, that actually becomes your model for how you be a leader. And if you don't wake up to it, like, I didn't like this. Why am I keep doing this? Crap
over and over and over. Yeah. So I think that the first thing to really build in a really good team is the culture. And you're military, I was military, mm-hmm. and I think that's part of our DNA, who we're about. There's a culture, there's a team, there's a unity, there's all those things. And when you build that and you build a strong culture, and then people want to come and work for you. They want to be around winners. They want to be around people that aren't just looking at them as a number. And once they don't produce or whatever, they have a bad quarter, then they're done. But there's more to that team, right? So I think culture is something, you continuously working on. The values never change. Sometimes their culture changes. As you get bigger too, I see companies, as they get bigger.
Your values should morph.
Yeah, they should not. But the values always stay strong. Your culture changes a little bit because you add different types of people, but it's still evolving, and So
like
living, breathing.
when I'm doing culture, like when I'm doing core values with a client, I always say there's two types of values. There's foundational core values and there's aspirational core values. Foundational core values, I always say, those are ones that you would never trade. Like no one can give you enough money. Like for you, I know that's you, integrity. You say what you do, you do what you say. That's like a foundational core value. You would never ever trade that for anything. Now, aspirational core values, communication. We always can communicate better. So I think that's like your foundational core values for your culture, for your brand, should be a mix of foundational ones that are just who you are at your core, you never would give up, and then some aspirational ones that you aspire to be. So
yeah. So I think, and then two, what are you work by the three P's?
3 P's.
You know?
That's my big framework.
Yeah. So let's talk about the 3 P's. I
So,
think some of my frameworks. Let's talk about that.
So my TRC method is founded on what we call the 3P framework. And the 3P framework is people, product, process. And I look at it like a combination lock. Whereas if I gave you a combination lock, a 3-digit combination lock, and said open a lock, if I told you the combination and the order to go in, you could open the lock. But a lot of people know the combination, they just have the order wrong. So I always say, like, there's a certain process map that you have to use to unlock like high probability in the restaurant game. Same in the corporate world too. There's a certain, like, there's a ladder or a structure or a frame that takes you from being an employee to an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur, you know. And there's a certain structure, and it's like, you know, and your big statement is, you know, stand up, stand out. But if you don't stand out, you just kind of blend in this background.
You know, he mentioned I like that framework, by the way. And you really write a lot about that framework
all the time.
It's kind of your foundation.
It saved my life.
Yeah,
it really did. When I had my first restaurant, if I didn't have that business owner, that businessman who decided to mentor me and taught me that 3P framework, I would have closed up. I probably would have been seriously. I was probably headed for death.
Yeah,
I was drinking, doing drugs, horrible marriage. I was just not taking care of myself. I was like definitely going down the rabbit hole pretty fast.
Yeah. And that helped you. Just that one little framework.
Just gave me something to. It gave me something to look at and something to follow. That's why I love frames.
Yeah. I like that. You know what? You got me thinking. I like people, passion, and process. I like people, passion.
That's your P3.
I like
people, passion.
I like people, passion, and purpose. Actually,
I really like purpose is important because without purpose, you have no direction.
Yeah, I like those. I like the 3 P's. That 3 P's is really good, right?
People,
purpose, and passion. Our people, passion, person. People, passion,
and then purpose.
Yeah. People, passion, and purpose. I think
should be purpose before passion.
Well, yeah, I think it could be. If you have your good purpose, it'll cause you to have passion. You know.
Yeah, if you have your purpose, that unleashes your passion.
Yeah.
And then your passion lets you stand out. So stand up, stand out. Stand up is make sure you have the right people around you. You're surrounding yourself with the right people. Because you know how it is.
Yeah.
If you don't have the right people in your corner, dude.
But you know, when I say stand up and stand out too, it's what it is. It's just it's like, you know, stand up and stand stand out. It's like, it's not an egotistical thing. It's like, you know, have confidence and stand up and stand out and make a difference and be the person that you're called to be, that God called you to be. So some people would say stand up, stand out, not in like flashy, look at me, right? It is you gotta be looking at ways to stand up and stand out in a noisy world that we live in today, to get the attention so you can support and help and make a difference. Right?
You know, and one of the things I've always admired about you, and I think this what makes you an incredible mentor and a great friend and also a great business leader, in the sense that you have this uncanny ability to see the potential. You know, so people, if we're gonna look at people, one of the things that when I look at my 3P framework, people, product, process, inside each element, there's another 3 different blocks. So like in my people part for restaurants, it's mindset, culture, and hiring. For you, your people part could be, you know, potential, you know, maximizing your potential. And then what would be, like, if you had to have 2 other things in the people part?
In the people part,
let's like frame out your whole frame here.
Yeah, hey, we're framing it out. Right?
We're framing out the whole thing. We're doing this live.
Live.
So people, potential.
Yeah, passion. That's the 3 P's though.
That's in the 3rd P.
Okay, yeah. but the people, right?
People part. What do you look for? I know you look for potential.
Yeah. I always see what people can't see, right? And others, they can't see them. They can't see.
That's potential. That potential is the huge thing.
Yeah.
Because most of us have blind spots.
Everybody has blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a blind spot.
That's why they're called blind spots, right?
Exactly why they're called blind spots. And so,
it wasn't a blind spot.
Yeah, and look, and this, you know, and you have to. It's a gift, and it's something too. You learn. You learn that what you need to do is what you don't need to do, but just kind of be quiet and listen, and just watch people. And I like to watch. I like to watch what they say. You know, people listen, but I like to watch. I like to watch people and what they say, because most people say one thing, but really they're going through a whole. And you never know what people are going through, right? Yeah. So we're going back to the people part. So you're walking me through the here. This is what you're good at. You're really good at.
I'm good at frames. I'm good at frames.
Framing things out, how to work those things, right?
Yeah.
When you say the people, what else comes to mind?
For me, when I'm thinking, I know, like when I'm thinking about people, I'm thinking potential. I think mindset is also, and then I'm gonna say physical presence.
Yeah, that makes it.
Because without physical presence, you can't step up to leadership.
Right.
Right. So people is potential, mindset, and physical presence.
So that's the three. That's the three things that.
In the people part.
Right.
And then purpose.
That's going to be to me, that's your spiritual side too. Right?
Yeah, I think that's your spiritual spiritual connection.
Yep.
Right. Your inner drive, because all of our drives get kind of like snubbed every once in a while. So inner drive is how do we maintain that purpose?
Yep.
Long term.
Right. And I'm sure as we're writing and walking through this, they're actually coming. They're writing.
They're writing some stuff too. I know. That's how I like to do stuff. Yeah, I like to
So what else do you think about purpose? Think about that, guys.
Purpose. Spiritual is huge.
Spiritual is like everything. I mean, spiritual.
And I will tell you now, Dax has known me for 15 years.
Yep, 15 years.
And for 14 years, Dax has been telling me all the time, dude, there's only one thing missing in your business. There's only one thing missing in your life. There's only one thing missing in your brain. You got one thing missing, the God frame.
Yeah.
Right. And then I tell you, it wasn't until last year when I got connected that everything just started falling into place.
Yeah, got baptized. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I would tell you that's one of the people. Part of your growth, you know. It's not about religion. It's not about any of these things, but it is about that spiritual connection, and with God, and that's one piece that, you know, some people don't put a lot of some people put a lot of stock in it. And I would just tell you that's one of the most important things, and that's for a later podcast. But I would tell you though that. If you're missing that, you want to grab it. That's one piece that's going to help you.
Yeah. So people, we had potential, mindset, physical presence, and then purpose. We had spiritual, God, inner drive, your ability to maintain your own, drive and purpose, and then I put connection down too, because I think connections are very powerful for purpose. Because when you're around the right people, they help feed your purpose and they help you drive you. Like the people at the Hive, we work at this place called the Hive, and I mean, you want to talk about like all the high achievers in town?
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah, and when you go there, the energy, you just feel the energy.
Yeah, you can feel it. It stands out. It helps you, stand out in a lot of different areas. But you got passion.
I had fuel, fire, and fight.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
You know, fuel drives your passion, because without the right fuel, it's like if you had a Ferrari and you put in cheap gas, you're not going to go anywhere. Right. And then fire, you got to be able to keep that fire burning inside. And every once in a while, that fire will get dim. Trust me.
You know, when you think about it, it could be the passion. You know, one of the things I really, really, really enjoy. I really like to. I like to support and bring out the best of people. Man, I'm really passionate about that. It energizes me when I'm.
That could be part of your fire.
That is.
So your fire could be like, fire is whatever like lights you up, and for you, it's seeing other people
achieve. I want to see people to rise.
You've always been like that.
Achieve to their best. I think we all have a calling, and some of us find it quicker than others, but it's always been there, and you have it. Once you can see it, some people say that passion and purpose, all that really, you're not going to find something that you really It's going to really help you in life. Not just being passionate. That's not good enough. But I think it is. I think being passionate and having a purpose and finding something you like and really going to drive you. I think that's like everything. Because now you're always looking for something. You never feel satisfied. You're always going to be looking for that. What is it? What is it?
You always feel there's something missing.
It's always a missing piece, right? There's nothing really missing. And two, when you get connected and when you have connectivity with God, it's really when you find your purpose and passion. Really, I think. But until then, it's surface stuff.
It's all surface stuff, right? Yeah. It's the material.
Yeah,
and you've seen me in my career. You've seen me chase the material.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but you also, and here's the nice thing I always say about that, because like when I chase the material, he lets me run, and then he'll dial me back in. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
It's okay.
Stop chasing that. It's like, it's stupid. Like, all right, you're right.
It's okay to have nice things.
It's nice to have nice things.
But you gotta like every once in a while you gotta take an inventory.
Take an inventory.
Like, okay, am I getting out of sequence here?
Yeah.
You know. And then two, sometimes you keep. We all do this at times, and I really work at this. And you're like, okay, you're waiting on the answer. What do I need to do? What direction I need to take? What? And then it could be anything. Do I need? It could be a new job. It could be a position. It could be a relationship. It could be whatever. Like you keep thinking about what is it? What is it? What is it?
Exactly.
And sometimes that answer is right there in front of you, but you just not taking the time to see it. And then when you do, like, somebody brings it to you, you're like, I see it. I see it now where I didn't see it. That can be anything, right?
Definitely.
And so the answers are within. And so I think when we go within, we can find those answers because we're hit all day long. And we're marketed all day long. So
that purpose part really makes sense now. It's like, if it goes in sequence, so like spiritual, you got to have that connection with God first. Then you have to take that inside and then turn it into that inner drive for your purpose. And then you have to have the connections around you that keep that alive inside of you. Same thing with passion. You got to have the right fuel. And the fuel is not necessarily, like a lot of times when people think about fuel, they think about just food. It's not, it's what you feed your mind too.
Right.
Fuel is like, the relationships you have that fuel you or drain you.
Yeah. And relationships too. And that could be anybody in the network. I think every once in a while you need to go through your network.
Every time you got to I think you should do a friend inventory and see what's serving you and what's not serving you.
And it's okay, And two, I'm going to tell you, this is tough. Here's a tough one. Some of us have family members that were that bring you down and just doesn't energize you. And then you have to make a decision. And it's hard because
that's super hard because it's family. And we're taught our whole life is family is everything.
Yeah, but in reality, if you have somebody that's energy zapper and always bring you down and doesn't have kind words to say or whatever, you have to make a decision. And we all have some of those in our lives too. We have them, and some people have that in work. And some people are handcuffed where they don't want to. Their work owns them.
Yeah.
And they're like, they got this golden handcuffs.
Golden handcuffs, right? Definitely.
But never be that way. Always be in a position yourself where that nobody really owns you, because then you do better work. You make more impact. If I had to go in day to day and feel like that my position is jeopardized, it wouldn't work because it just wouldn't work. I wouldn't go in. It doesn't matter how much money I was being paid. I would have to do something else. And I would encourage people that you're never stuck. You can always do more. You have everything you need within you. Just make sure that you reach out, hang around the right people, the right networks. Always be looking on sharpen your saw.
Yep, always sharpen your saw.
And then I think no matter what, if you're an entrepreneur working with a company or an entrepreneur, or you're in the restaurant business, or any of the people you coach, same thing you tell them, right?
Yep, same thing.
It's kind of like, how do you be your best on a daily basis? Really, mindset, isn't that really everything?
Mindset's everything, dude.
When you look at everything, it's kind of like it's how you wake up, how do you go to bed?
It is.
Right?
I would call it bookending your days. I like to always start off my day with a strong, normally, my morning routine is always I'll meditate, I'll pray. I get into the Bible now.
Yes.
Which I didn't do that before. And then I just have some quiet time. My quiet time for me and God, just to kind of just to be present. Sometimes he talks to me, sometimes I hear things, sometimes it's very quiet. But I always think that's sometimes that's just what I need. Sometimes
Right.
whatever I need, he like gives me what I need every time. And then I like physical. I like to move my body. So after I have some spiritual time, I like to get to go to the gym. I like to do my workout. I usually do weights. We do cardio. And then afterwards, it's all about fuel for me. It's about getting the right nutrients in my body, get myself set for the day. So I come back and do my supplement drinks.
Yep.
Take all my supplements. I take supplements.
I think you can. Well, I would tell you he could go overboard. But you have so much stuff that like nutrition stuff. And I've done the same.
You and I have the same pantry, man. My pantry and your pantry are like we have so much shit.
We got a lot of stuff.
So much stuff. It's crazy.
And I'm like, okay, I got to settle down. I got to get to 1 or 2 products. But sometimes, sometimes when you do the inventory, though, you have to do the inventory of that too. Everything. You know how much clutter we have? I've
been cleaning out a lot of my clutter. Like that's been my new thing.
Just get rid of stuff.
Yeah, it's good to purge.
It is. We're doing that right now.
Purge everything.
Yeah, we got too much. I haven't looked at clothes. I got clothes I haven't worn in like 4 years. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, when I moved from my old place to my new place, I donated a lot of clothes to Goodwill. Right? And then I also gave a lot of my clothes to my son. He's the same size as me. So, I mean, I probably got rid of, like you, tons of stuff I haven't worn for 5, 6 years.
If you have, look, here's something else too. Clutter. Tell me. Here's something. God and I would move, my wife, we'd move and we'd have stuff in the attic we haven't seen in 3 years. We take it to our new house, put it in the attic. And so
I know everyone does that shit.
So, but here's what happened though. We moved to Arizona, you don't have attics.
You don't have attic.
So we like, okay, it's gone. So we got rid of all that stuff. So it's gone. It was like, my goodness, I didn't realize so much stuff we actually had.
Yeah. Well, then the problem is too, sometimes like you have a pretty big house. Like sometimes you feel like I gotta fill the space.
Yeah.
So you start getting extra.
Oh yeah, then you go out and buy stuff.
And then you gotta buy extra shit to fill the space up.
Yeah, but I don't need that either. So hey, here we go.
Here we go. All right, what's the lesson?
Here's what I want to know. If you had to put everything together, culture, purpose, passion, all of it, and you just had to pick one thing that would be the
end all be all,
be the secret, the real secret. I mean, out of all that, everything we talked about, what is it? What's the number one thing?
Spiritual.
It's tough.
Spiritual connection is the most powerful thing because that is what carries you.
Yeah,
that's what faith. When you talk about spirituality, we talk about God, we talk about faith a lot. Faith is just having this just unwavering belief in your heart that things are that He's looking out for you, He's moving things behind your scene. One of the things that so lately, I'm relatively new to the whole spirituality thing, and so lately it's been a really good thing for me is learning that sometimes things fall apart that you don't want to fall apart.
Yeah.
But they fall apart because God has better plans, has different plans for you.
And for whatever you're falling apart about on either side, if it's a relationship or it's business or anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about,
It's about having faith. And faith is that I know it's going to work.
It's a knowing.
It's a knowing. It's a knowing. It's that belief in your heart. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
I used to have this saying, a lot of times it seems like just things kind of just naturally work out for me. And I just had this saying, well, things just work out for me. Now it's like, God's always looking out for me.
Yes.
That's like my new thing. It's like, instead of me just saying, oh, does things work out for me? No, it's God's playing chess behind the scenes and He's moving the chess pieces. And sometimes I don't know what the next move is, but I have to trust that it's going to work out. It's all going to be it's going to be better.
Yeah. I think one of the things is when you learn that you are a co-creator with God, and that you have to listen, right? So you have to listen to God. But you see, some people say, I'm praying about it. They sit on the couch and they're praying about it. And they keep praying about the same thing over and over and over. Yeah. In reality, what they have to do is start taking the steps towards that.
That's it, right
and
there.
Listen and watch what's next, and then take those steps. And so what happens is you're co-creating what God has for you, and He's giving you the way. He's giving you the signs, the signals, and giving the steps, and you just have to learn to listen. And sometimes some people can hear the voice. Sometimes it's just like things come up. You're like, oh, I see this, and and it's not like it just happened. It was like, oh, this is what it is, and you just follow that. You follow that. You follow that. Look,
I think you know what I think. I think this has been my big belief lately too. Is I think a lot of people, when they get this initial connection with God or they pray to God, they're going to God to ask for something. And I find if I go just to ask, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
Instead of for me asking, what do you need me to do? What do you show me what you want, and then just tell me and I will obey.
What direction do you want me to
go? Which way
do I need to help?
What do I need to help? What do I need to help? Yeah, and then just connecting to that thing. And you say it all the time. It's like, he speaks to us all in different ways. And a lot of times it's, I heard something the other day, somebody said, he's not the God of the roar, he's the God of the whisper sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes he just whispers to you.
Whispers?
Just nudges you, go this direction.
Throw you something out there, you'll see it a couple of times.
I see it a lot. Yeah. That's like, I know that's a sign. It's like, I know he's trying to communicate to me when I see like the same word over and over. Or if I'm listening to, like, a lot of times I listen to YouTube videos about spirituality, about Christianity. And if I'm listening to a video and all of a sudden I hear the same message in like 2 or 3 videos in a row, I'm like, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
The biggest thing too, here's the thing that I want to make sure that, I'm glad we're actually covering this. This is what part of the direction, but this is where we need to go. So sometimes people are seeking the answers and they're seeking and they're looking, and also they get to this thing where they feel like, if I don't do certain things, then I'm not going to be good enough. If I'm not good enough, God leaves me. Yep. That's something that I would like to just make sure you understand. No matter where you're at, no matter what you're at, He's got you.
He's not going to leave you.
He's not you. And the reason why I know this to be true,
He loves you. He made you.
I was just thinking about my son, he challenged me a lot. So I get challenged with him. But no matter what, at the end of the day, I still love him. He can say some nasty things. He says whatever. He can do whatever. But my thing of it is, you don't ever lose that love. And he doesn't. And I'll never leave him. I'll be there. I mean, there's times I'm not going to just leave him. I'm still overlooking him and watching things. And I just think about how God is with us and how many mistakes we made and do and say and always. But it's not on works. It's not about how you are. It's about once you build that relationship, He's there, God. Yes. And He doesn't forsake you. He doesn't leave you. He's with you. And once you know that, there's a confidence that comes from that. Again, it's not about being perfect. It's not, you're not going to have bad days. It's not you're going to say things you wish you wouldn't have said. There's not going to things you're going to do things you wouldn't have done or should have done, whatever. He's still there. Once you do that, what happens is you build a confidence and a knowing. And once you have that knowing, no matter what, everything's going to be fine. No matter what, it's going to be fine.
You know what that is? That's peace.
It's peace.
In your heart. You just inside, just know, like, all right, it's okay.
It's going to work out.
It's okay. Everything's going to work out. I can fall. I can stumble. It's going to be okay, though.
Yes, and you will. And by the way, you're going to fall. You're going to fumble the ball. You're going to say things you didn't. But what happens? But you're going to continue to grow with that. You sharpen your saw. You get better. You get better. You get better and better. Then all of a sudden you become a better leader. You take care of your body better. You take care of your mind. You take care of the people around you. You start loving a little bit more. You walk in a different way. And it's not ego, but it's like, you have this energy, this energy, right?
Calm, confident energy.
Yeah. And then, when you show up, you're passionate. Like when I speak to people, when I go to places and I go to talk to people, I'm passionate to hear what they're about. I want to hear them. I listen to their heart, listen to what they're about. And I really, that guides me. And I love that. And I bring that into the corporate world. That's what I bring that fire, that passion to them. And it's really, the secret is that connection.
It is.
And then you just put the frames around it, like you're talking about. The frames and taking care of your body, your being, all those frames. You live by those frames. It's your foundation. And when you get that foundation, you build it deep. Then you're able to, really make a difference. I think right now at our age, at my age, I feel better, more wisdom, more patience. Even though there's sometimes I lose my patience. But I have all those. I love where I'm at in life today. And I wish sometimes I'm like, man, why didn't I get that? Why didn't I have it back then? It's like, because you weren't supposed to. It's all about learning.
Exactly.
So, right?
It's so
true. I think if all those things we talked about and the frames and everything, I think that we can both say without hesitation that your spiritual life is the drive.
It's a foundation.
It's a foundation for everything, right?
Your relationship with God is the house.
It's the house.
Yeah.
And can I just leave you with this? Is like, don't judge people for whatever they believe.
Oh no.
Don't criticize. What I even do is like I see people all the time in different faiths, and I love them where they're at.
Oh, I don't care.
But then
it doesn't matter what your faith is. I just want you to believe.
Yeah, but what happens though? Here's what happens though. Here's the beautiful part is when you start living in front of them, and they see you to be a little different. They want to know more about your belief, and you're able to share that. Sometimes people like, wow, they want to like, I want to know more about that. I want to know more about Christ. I want to know more about your beliefs, and it's not really about being in church Wednesday mornings, Sunday nights, but Sunday mornings. Every day it's open.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying that you don't have to be there every time the door is open. And it's because it's more than just it's more than a religious movement. It's more of a relationship. So, wow,
I like going to church.
Yeah, you love.
I do like going to church. I loved going to church when I was a kid, and then I had this an event where my grandmother passed away. I kind of turned my back on God.
Yeah.
And lately I just love going. It's just something about just being in just the energy.
Yeah.
Being around all those people that just believe and just have faith, unwavering faith.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I just love being in the energy of those people and stuff like that. And then the same thing like at the Hive. The Hive is unlike any gym in the world.
Yeah.
Unlike any, it's not even. I wouldn't even call it a gym.
No, it's a mission. It's a mission field.
It is an energy portal.
Yeah,
that's what the Hive is. The Hive is like an energy portal to a better, just everything better.
Yeah.
Not only your physical being, but your mental being, your spiritual being,
and being around people that really care about you. Care about you, not all this about self.
People. That's the biggest thing about the Hive. It's like and I used to go to Lifetime.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you now, when I used to go to Lifetime, man, the energy was just off. It just felt like everyone's just there for themselves. They're very, very selfish.
Yeah.
When you go to the Hive, everyone's like so friendly. I have more friends at the Hive than any gym I've ever gone to my whole life. And I tell you, and you're just excited about seeing.
What's your takeaway with that? Think about it. What's your takeaway from just being part of that? Like joining like a gym or anything. What's
energy?
Right.
Like attracts like. Yeah. High energy attracts high energy.
Because you know what, you worked out Lifetime. And you didn't get to know
anybody. I didn't think I met one. I think I met one person at Lifetime in a year. One person introduced themselves.
Wow.
And just because it was Bryce who was in the Warrior with us.
Oh yeah.
Bryce Prescott.
Yeah.
He was worked out there, and I happened to know him. I was like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
But man, at the Hive, I probably we go at 6 a.m.
Yeah. And you meet
everybody. The 6 a.m. crew is all the same, and we all give each other. We all tease each other.
If you're late, you're in trouble.
I'm always late. I'm always late. I'm always late. I'm always late.
And I'm the.
You're the 10 minutes before.
I'm gym police. I'm in there.
You are gym police.
I'm like, I don't care where you're at. If you come in there and I don't know you, you're late. I'm gonna like, hey,
you're late. We always give those twins.
The twins, yeah, Elliot,
the Elliot twins, yeah.
Right.
Ian and Evan, man, we always give them shit all the time.
They're always not there.
Yeah.
And then at my workout, one of my guys, Adam, he's always like
always
2
late.
minutes late.
Adam's always late.
So, listen, again,
I'm telling you though, but running with like people like that, I mean, I've seen Adam's physical body change. I mean, he's getting
and his mental,
yeah. I mean, his energy's a lot better. I just noticed lately when he's there, his energy's a lot more. He's a lot more focused.
Yeah,
he's looking great.
Yeah,
I mean, he's probably in his 50s, like us.
Yeah, 51, I think so.
51. He's young.
He's young.
I'm old.
He's young. Well, look, gang. Hey, I know we're going to call this the Ramblin' Podcast.
The Ramblin' Podcast.
The Ramblin' Podcast for the restaurant coach.
That's it.
But listen, hopefully you got some nuggets, some things you can
take away
in your life. But it's all about the foundation. And if you haven't found that spiritual side, I would recommend that you dig in. And if I can help you in any way, reach out to me, reach out to Donald Burns.
I'd love to help you.
We'd love to tell you more about what we believe. Again, even if you don't, we love you. I want the best for you. I want you to thrive in this in this world. I want you to live a life and stand up, stand out, and have everything that you desire.
What's your favorite? Okay, let's leave on one thing. What's your favorite Bible? What's your Bible scripture? Your favorite go-to? You have one. Right?
Oh man, what about what's the? I love.
You like the armor of God. You love the armor of God.
Hey, think about it. Think about the armor. Well, I'm not gonna.
It's got a tab.
I'm gonna tell you.
It's got a tab on.
Armor of God. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you
On the full armor of God.
yeah, I would say this too. You know what? We're gonna talk about it the next time. We'll talk about tattoos.
All right, cool.
We're not gonna talk about it today. But what's yours?
Mine.
Yeah.
My favorite one. I love the one that says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens."
Oh, of course.
You know? And when I'm feeling weak, I just remember he's got me. He's got my back. He's got me. You know.
Yeah.
Those days I just don't want to get up, get going. Days I have bad, negative self thoughts, you know, harming thoughts. I mean, yeah.
You just put it on it, right?
I just put it on there.
We're gonna talk about one day about. We're not gonna talk about today. We'll talk about some of the things that when Donald died
twice
and come back and
Dax found me.
And yeah, that's a whole other story too.
That's a whole other story. Dying.
That's and two, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for it. It was several years later for him to really get his faith, but there's a reason for that.
God works in His own time frame.
Oh yeah, that's right. We can't.
That's another thing I'm learning too. Is that our time frames, human time frames, and God's time frames are totally different. Everybody, just so you know. So your time frame is like, I want it now, and God's time frame is like, it'll happen. Just it'll happen when I'm ready, not when you're ready.
I'm a 33-year success.
That's it. Yeah.
It's
taken me 40 years to be successful. Yeah. I'm an overnight success. 40 years to make it.
That's a whole nother thing. What is success to me? Listen,
awesome.
Thanks for being here at the Corporate Edge Podcast with the restaurant coach, Donald Burns. We love you. And until then, stand up, make a difference, and take care.